When I'm training for professional competitions, men and women always ask me for advice. To women, I say push yourself harder than you ever have before and go beyond your comfort zone. Focus on your goals. Men, if I am willing to push myself to become Mr. Olympia in 2022, then I only have one thing to say to you. Bring your A game.
Here we go again.
Well, I'm on one today. It's going to be my third one for the night after about 3 takes of this one. But you already know the deal. My name is Ronin Martin, representing the A-Game. I want to say mad love to the A-Game family. Shout out to A-Game Nation. You already know the deal. But all subscribers, both new and old, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell for future videos. And you already see the title of the video, The Importance of Formation. Let's get down to the numbers and the definition of it. And salute to my fellow veterans. Formation, an arrangement of a body or group of persons or things in some prescribed manner or for a particular purpose. So that brings me to this video. When it comes to the Black Manosphere, a lot of revisionist historians believe that this place was solely meant to shit talk women, do all kind of nonsensical MAGO type shit, and all kind of foolishness out here, which is maybe 20% right. The initial formation of this space, shout out to the OGs, was initially about men's rights activism. It was about getting our families in order, talking to each other across the board, both here and across the pond, getting the networks connected to where we connect the dots and amend the problems that are going not just here but abroad. However, this is where the 10 life values system and the lost value system come into play. There's 2 different formations, especially in this year where you're talking about things being revealed and you're seeing who's on what side respectively. Now, granted, there's some people in the middle, but that middle part is slowly breaking apart. They're going to have to choose a side, especially with everything that's going on nowadays. You always know the adage where if you're surrounded by 5 bums or millionaires, you're going to be the next one. That's part of the formation. And my fellow veterans will attest. When it came to formation, number one, that's your adherence to the orders. When you're coming out there, when you go to formation, first of all, you get a heads up. That means you get your shit in order. Get correct. From the finest detail, that way you represent not just yourself, but your unit. Because there were consequences to you coming to formation as a shit bag. That's why they said shit rolls downhill. If the higher ups heard it, it all went down to you. And either you got smoked in the quarterdeck or out in the sandbox, or they find some other ways to make you pay for making them look bad. So it comes back to this space. When we talk about the Black Manosphere in general, got some new charts for you. When we're talking about the lost value system versus the 10 life values, you start using this. Now, this will often apply to your foresight, your intuition. Now, both the 10 life values and the lost value system tend to benefit from this. But what makes or breaks an individual is what side you're on as far as the value system. If you're talking about XLV, 10 life value system, it'll help build you up. It'll maximize things. It will add to you. It'll multiply many things that you need. Keep nonsense divided out of your orbit to maintain fluidity. And it'll subtract negative people, concepts, and other things to maintain your stability as a man, an upright man. When you're on the lost value system, your perception is skewed. People that could add value to your life, you tend to delete them out. You add more problematic people into your circle, while you subtract people who can help take away those problems. You start multiplying your issues because you refuse to work from within before moving to the external. And you keep yourself divided from greatness and to your optimum health and your better self, which leads into this. In finer detail, this lets you know who is around you. From the alienated followers, the cynical bastards out here, to the passive followers, the sheep. People are easily led. You got the conformist followers, the yes people. And then you have the pragmatist followers, the survivors. Self-serving individuals who end up being mercenaries. If they can afford to pay attention to it, it benefits them, or you can pay them to do it, they'll do it. But they're not committed to the mission. The ones you want in your formation are exemplary followers. It goes back to what I said a long time ago. Great leaders create great leaders. See, it's not just you want to be the man, as many people want to say. When you say that, you wear many hats. You end up being the priest. You end up being a disciplinarian. You end up being the head of the family or the organization, where a lot of what responsibility falls onto you. When you have great followers, when you know your role and learn how to play it, you have individuals who can be advisory positions and keep you in balance. So when you represent them and vice versa, reciprocity can manifest. On the loss value system, you got rugged individuals. You got individuals who are into internet idolatry. People who worship depreciating assets, depreciating assholes, and so-called concepts that do nothing but corrupt them and everything pertaining to them and around them. Then you start thinking about it when it comes to your formation. Again, we talk about your foresight into intuition. Done right, you can make many great leaders, which leads to many great nations. But it starts within yourself. But you're on the loss value system. Your provision, you can use to be against you. You can never become a problem solver. You only become multiplying problems for yourself and around yourself. You're unable to protect yourself because you're spiritually cockeyed. And procreation, everything you touch will no doubt be aborted on every level. And then it comes down to this, your vetting process. As a leader, you got to exercise all four of these correctly. See if certain individuals are worth the time, the toll, the trouble, and the threat. When you're working on the loss value system, you always make time for people who mean you no good, who are a constant threat. And you no doubt pay the toll for back-asswards thinking. You see how the momentum works when especially you go counterclockwise. And see all four of these charts have a commonality. And I'm going to keep it 1 billion with you. Your ability to use your foresight and your insight will determine whether you remain on your square or get knocked the fuck off it. That's the long and short of it. So when it comes down to it, we as men, we got to always remain on our square. But in order to do that, we have to surround ourselves with people in our formation. Why are we here? And what are we going to do while we're here? And are we going to remain here? See, in the Marine Corps, wherever we moved, we kept in alignment. We talk about cover and alignment. A show of force, strength in numbers. Whenever people heard us coming, he said, every time we march, you lift your knee up high when you drive your feet to the ground, that sound lets people know you're coming. You either get the fuck out the way or get trampled. Again, that's projection of force. So when it comes down to it, you're talking about the 10 life values. A lot of times we work on the internal. That's the most important foundation you need to establish within yourself. That way you teach it to your other brothers. And when they're in the right alignment, things can move. Even when everything's chaotic, you have formations when you do in combat. Now, sometimes you can freelance, but that's at the very, very minimum. When you remember the Spartans, we talk about when they had that phalanx, and you were strong as the brother next to you with their shield and spear. When they were in that goat path, and they faced insurmountable numbers, you saw waves of bodies crashing against them shields, and all of them got fucked up in right order. That's how we're supposed to move as men. When you have a brother who's hurt, with a brother who's going through shit, when you got a brother who's trying to get himself fixed up when we deal with things as far as like the report card, it is our duty to extend a hand, a word, an attentive ear to make sure they're right. Because that's why I say, me and my brothers always say, we are the curse breakers. I am my brother's keeper. I'm the miracle that's meant to happen. That falls in line with just the motto of brotherhood. But we're talking about establishing ourselves as effective leaders versus educated lames. That all coincides with everything we're doing as far as our movement. Not just online, but off. You can't take days off as man and expect respectability or to be taken seriously. We wear many hats. We're both the gardener and the warrior. But the difference is how we implement those phases that we enter in. It's all about that ambition, that determination, that resilience, that foresight, and a tempered heart. That's what we do as veterans in and out of service. What we do as men, both out here in the streets or in the corporate sector. All this ties in together because when you think about it, all of us are soldiers in this spiritual warfare. Spiritual warfare is no respecter of person, creed, or whatever, but mainly with us black men. This is why it's important to understand what banner you're willing to fly. Are you talking about the 10 life values where you work on the internal and read and make sure everything runs fluid, leading to the external? Or you're a slave to corruption, looking for substance when you're spiritually bankrupt, using your money to waste away while you waste away physically, mentally, socially, spiritually. These are decisions, which I send a shout out to Jay Prince for saying this. Every man wakes up with two things, a chance and a choice. And that means everything more now than ever. So in closing, I want to say to you guys, mad love to you for giving me your time. And, to help out the brother, I'm looking to not just get the 1K, I'm looking to get the 5K within a year. Yeah, I'm putting my goals very lofty. So what I'm saying, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Again, salute to the A-Game family. Mad love to my OG, Dr. Holman, Dr. Michelle, and everyone under that banner. As always, never allow your comfort zone to become your coffin. Semper Fi. Stand on what you believe in. Peace.